Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nuno from Meeples and Mysteries and we're here with Johnny. Hey, my name is Johnny. Let's get this shit over with, man. Okay, so today I'm bringing you a short review. I'm not entirely sure what the format of this will be moving forward, but the reason this is a short review is that this is a game I played once. I just got this game for my sister's birthday. That's why you see this above me. That was yesterday, and even though it's a game I played once, it's a game I'm pretty familiar with, and let me explain that. So today we are reviewing Porto, a game about building the famous riverfront of Porto in a fast, tactical and interactive game. Now, I already told you the first caveat. I only played this game once, so this might seem really weird to do a review on it, but I think you will understand my point of view. And the second caveat, I live in Porto, and I've lived in Porto my whole life, so I'm biased. I'm highly biased. So this is a game from Orlando Sa that is already known for some games. Porto is its highest rated game, but is also known for Neotopia, a game that is just cracking the top 5,000, top 1,500, the top 5,000 on BGG. It's also known for Pessoa and Rocio, games that are just really close above the 5,000 mark on BGG, the top 5,000 mark on BGG. And they're like probably the three of the best known Portuguese games, along with Coimbra and Lisboa, and probably one or another game that I don't remember. Then the publishing is from MEBO Games. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, which I'm sure you know it. They're a really famous brand. They have a lot of really well-known games. They are not at all a brand that only the hobby knows. They are a pretty big brand, with some of their famous games being Forest Shuffle, which has been a big success in recent years, and Sagrada, Clask, King Domino, For Sale, It's a Wonderful World, all really well-known games, and these are just their top 6. So what is this game actually? This game is basically a Ticket to Ride-esque game, and that's why I think it's more or less okay that I do a review for this game with just one play. Because there's a whole category of games that are like Ticket to Ride, and it's perfectly understandable. Ticket to Ride is just a really great game. It's been a staple for years. It's one of the most well-sold games, well-reviewed games, best family wave games. After knowing Ticket to Ride, I instantly consider it like the best entry into the hobby, the best family game I had ever played. It instantly, for me, substituted games like Catan and other famous games, even though it's a completely different genre. So basically, how do you play Porto? You play it the same way as Ticket to Ride. You can either build the buildings of the riverfront of Porto instead of the trains, or you can either take the cards that will allow you to build later. So it's really the same game. And when I say it's a Ticket to Ride-esque game, the game is so famous that there have been various clones over the years, and all of them are really good, even though none has really dethroned Ticket to Ride as the best game in the genre. One of the other games I know is Tracking the World, first edition. And when I'm comparing that game, Tracking the World, first edition, to Ticket to Ride, there's some clear differences. First, I think the theme of the game is a lot more appealing. If I'm teaching new board gamers, if I'm teaching people that are not board gamers, Tracking the World would be my recommendation. Just because of the theme of traveling and the cards that tell you stuff about the world, they really get people into the game. Even though I think it's the worst of the 3 games, it's a good game and it's the one I would always introduce to new players. So where does Porto fall in these 3 games? That are the 3 games that I've played that are really similar to Ticket to Ride. The main difference is the way you draft cards. In Porto, you don't really have a limit of drafting 2 cards or drafting 1 special card. You draw cards in terms of points. Cards have points from 1 to 2 to 3, and you can always draw a maximum of 3. So that gives just a little bit of small strategy to the drafting, where you basically can get 1 card, 2 or 3 cards, depending on their numbers. The other main difference, the other two differences to these games, both of these games, is the way the contracts work. In Ticket to Ride and Tracking the World, the contracts are a bit bigger on points and a bit harder to reach. In Porto, you're always reaching for them. They are lower in points, but you're always making a lot of points and finish a lot of contracts. And that gives a really nice feeling to the game compared to those two, because you're right from the beginning always doing points, always competing, and not just waiting a long time before you finish something. And I think that makes the game really dynamic and really interactive in a good way. The third major difference is that this game plays a lot faster than Tracking the World and Ticket to Ride. I think Tracking the World really outstays its welcome. And I think Ticket to Ride is just a big overall. It doesn't outstay its welcome, it's an excellent game, but Porto is faster than both of them. You can play Porto easily for the first time with teaching under 50 minutes. And that's the first time you play it, with teaching, with everything. From the three games, it's the simpler to teach. So that's the main difference and the reasons I would go for this game. Ticket to Ride is at this point a staple. It's a really awesome game. It inspired dozens of clones. I don't even know half of them. And it's easy to see why. It's a really easy game to grasp. It's really fun to play. It plays well from 2 to 5 players. And it is a game that is so good and sold so much that there have been various versions. And all of them really are good. All of the big Ticket to Ride, they are good games. For example, Ticket to Ride Europa will be more balanced for people who want a more balanced game with more opportunities. If you go for the USA version, for example, it has less opportunities for building roads, which means it's a lot more cutthroat and competitive and mean in that way. So all of the Ticket Rides, they are mostly the same, but they all have a little, they all have their flavor. They all go in just a tiny bit in one direction that they can cater to different tastes. So what is the good about Porto? Some of it I've already mentioned it when I said the difference. But first, let's talk about player count. Porto plays solo, so that's a big plus for the game. None of the other games I've tried play solo. And actually, I have no way how the solo game plays. And I'm thinking of borrowing the game from my sister, just not today because I just gave it as a gift. It wouldn't feel right to just ask it right away. But at some point I'm going to ask it for it and do a solo playthrough, and I will do a solo review for the game. But just knowing it plays solo, it's already a big plus. Then the contracts, as I mentioned, they give you less points and they are more frequent, and you can just keep doing contracts. And that's, for me, it's a big difference from Ticket to Ride and the other games. It really feels nice. You're always feeling like you're competing, you're always going above each other, and you're always doing points, and it feels really dynamic that way. Then another thing is the point placement. There's certain points in the game, and I mean victory points, that when you do them, you can allocate that possible victory point to another construction. So in this way, what happens is that you can either do two things. You can plan to complete another objective and add those points there, so you can get those points. Or what actually seems to be the thing here, that is, in Porto, there's two types of contracts. There's the end of game contracts and the middle of the game contracts. And I've only mentioned the middle of the game contracts. The end contracts are contracts based on the whole way the board ends, in the end situation of the board. So that means that you can get points for stuff that other players constructed. So when you are allowed to place points, you can basically inspire players to do stuff for you. For example, you want to finish 3 buildings, but you can't finish them all. So maybe you allocate some points to that one building, and other players will try to get those points, so they will finish that building for you. You won't get the points for doing that building, but you will get the end game points for having it constructed. So that's a small but really smart mechanic that the game has that's really different from the other games, and that I had not seen before, and I really enjoyed that. Then let's talk about components. And here I'm going to talk about the good, but later I'm going to talk about the bad. But the first thing is the art. The art of the game is incredible. The game is so beautiful. The board is really big, it's really beautiful. If you actually know Porto, or if you live here, it's full of Easter eggs. When we first opened the game, we lost like 30 minutes just looking over the board and being whoa, and finding all the little things about stuff that is really relevant culturally. to the city of Porto, and it was really fun. So that's a really special thing for anyone who actually lives here or knows a bit about Porto. You notice that this game was made with some passion and with some love, and that's really cool. It's a small touch, doesn't really change the overall gameplay experience for most people, I would say, but when it does, it just feels special. And I would say that's probably the main reason that makes this game being my favorite of the bunch, even though I played it once. So another good thing is that this game doesn't outstay its welcome at all. It's the faster of the bunch. When I mentioned Ticket to Ride, Tracking the World, it's the faster of them, and I really love that. And I think it's really important for this type of game. Because I might not have mentioned this at the beginning, but I see Porto and Ticket to Ride as a game I'm mostly using to play with my family or to introduce new people. It's not a game I'm going to keep playing and playing all the time. It's not a game I play on my personal time or with my wife. It's a game I mostly take out to play once with family, to make them want to play board games. And when you consider that, having a game that gives you the same experience in 40 minutes or 2 hours, I'm going to choose the one that gives you in the 40 minutes. You know, the same good experience in less time is just a way better time for everyone involved, and then you can go and play another game, while people will not be as tired as if they were playing Ticket to Ride or Tracking the World. Another good thing is that you're building a city, and it feels really nice to just go watch as the city gets built and it gets more pretty. This is just an emotional thing, but you feel like the whole group of the players are building something and it's pretty. And that's a really nice feeling. And you actually feel that more than, for example, Ticket to Ride, where the state of the board just gets more and more confusing. Here, no, it just gets, in Porto, the game just gets prettier and prettier. And now the last thing I'm going to talk about is really good about this game, and that I've mentioned already in the beginning of the game, is that this is the simplest to teach of all the games. This is really so simple, so easy to teach. It's just a delight. So that also makes the game faster. It also makes the game enjoyable for what I want this game to be. An introduction to new players or something to play with my family that I meet from time to time. Now let's talk about the bed. Again, let's talk about the components. Even though the art is beautiful and the board is full of details and the cards are also full of details, I would say the components could just be a tiny bit better. The cards, they have a hefty, they seem like they have a hefty, the cards, like at first they seem to be a bit, they have some quality, they are not flimsy, they are not so easy to fold. But at the same time, they are made from a material that kind of sticks together, and it kind of feels a bit weird. You know, they don't seem like quick cards, but it makes it just a slightly bit harder to shuffle, and that means that for some people they might ruin their cards just a bit sooner. Again, this is just a small detail, but you kind of feel it. The second bad thing, and again, I'm comparing to the other games in the genre. This only plays to 4 players. Yes, it plays solo, but it doesn't play to 5 players like the other two, and that might make a difference. For my family, for example, my core family, normally when we get together, we are 5. So this game only plays 4. So for me, and if that's your case, that will make a difference. Now, another bad thing, and this one, I can totally be sure, but this game seems just a little less repeatable than the Ticket to Ride. I can't be sure of this. I played the game once, but and I did want to play it again right away, which doesn't happen with Ticket to Ride, just because the game is shorter. But the truth is that the game feels like it will have less strategy if you repeat it a lot. But again, take this with a grain of salt, since I have not played the game a lot. Another thing that you might not like, and this is normal to this type of game, is the constant board state changes. You might want to do something, and when the game turns around, comes back to you, it's not possible to do that anymore, because people will have built things and they will have used spaces, and you can't do that anymore. So this is not a game where you can think of a deep strategy. You just have to make changes as you go and hope for the best. But again, even though this might be a bad thing for some people, I don't consider it a bad thing for me. When I play these types of games, I just want to have some fun with my family. I'm not looking for that type of experience. Still, I'm mentioning it might be important to you. Also related to that, it's really hard to predict what other players are doing. In Ticket to Ride, you kind of see what a player wants to go for, that he wants to build a route or get there, and you can kind of imagine where he wants to go. But in this game, it's a lot harder to do that, just by the very nature of the game. You can see that people start certain buildings, but you can't really predict their main goals, because the goals are not just about building a specific building, but they are normally like where that building is, what buildings are next to it, if there are other buildings that are the same in the other side of the map, so you can't really predict that, at least less. So that might be a bad thing, but all the bad things I'm saying are basically really small stuff. I wouldn't say this game has many problems. So where does this game stand for me? I'm personally giving this game an 8. Yes, I really like this game. An 8 is the same that I've given Ticket to Ride and Trekking the World. But for me right now, this is my favorite game of the bunch and the one I want to play more. With Trekking the World being the least I want to play and Ticket to Ride being in the middle, because Ticket to Ride is the only one I would consider, especially the USA version, that I would consider just playing with my wife at 2 players, because I think it's a really good 2-player game. But at 4 players and 3, this is the one I want to play more. It's faster, it's the same experience, it's fun, and it does it so much faster in a shorter time. That's just a better experience for me. As I said, I'm really biased. I love Porto. The board is beautiful, but that will always be a personal preference. Not everybody might enjoy the board as much. About the BGG score and where I stand on it, the current BGG score for this game is 7.1. So my rating is a bit above what other people think. So take that into consideration. Not everybody wants the same from their games, and even though this is a highly rated game that most people like, enjoy, and recommend, I must say that my rating of it is just a little bit higher, so that might influence you. Still, as I said, this is a game that is recommended by the community. It is recommended by most reviewers, so it's probably a good game to have. And I actually didn't mention, but the box is beautiful too, and it's the kind of game that you can have displayed on a shelf and just have something really beautiful in your home, the same way you could have a poster from a city. So just giving you a small taste from the community. People that rate this game really highly, they all mention that the game is really fun to play, really short, and really easy to learn. So that's basically the things the game is going for it, and I'd say that's the things that the game surpasses Ticket to Ride. Then there's the people that don't like this game as much and rate it as a 6. And mostly when you read those comments, all you can see is that they all mention the game is a Ticket to Ride clone, and that there is no reason to have this game when Ticket to Ride is around. So that's basically the reason people give this game a bad rep. And when I say bad rep, I mean they give it a 6. So it's not bad at all. This is a game that has no negative comments below 6. So that's really impressive for a game. Normally, whether a game is good or bad, there will always be people that love it or people that really hate it for some reason. People that would just, if they could, they would just pick all of the games and throw them in the fire. And I don't see that for this game, and that's really something. Even though this is not the most famous game, so that might have something to do with it. So, final thoughts and the summary. This is a really good game. This is actually an essential game. I think every collection should have at least a Ticket to Ride like game. Even if you are a really heavy gamer, there will be times where you'll want to play with non-gamer friends, with family, so having a game of this type is essential for me. And right now the game I have is Trekking the World, and it's still the game I would teach to most players because they will just get enthralled by the theme, but this is my favorite one. And if it was just for me, I would just not have Ticket to Ride nor Trekking the World, and I would just have Porto. Although at this point I'm not going to make that decision because I don't need more games that play the same. Still, this is my recommendation. If you like this type of game, this game is awesome. So I hope that gives you a fair view of the game and helps you with a decision to buy or not buy this game. Basically, if you like Ticket to Ride and you want something different, and when you look at the art of this game, it looks good, I would say this is probably a really safe bet. Especially if you're a solo player and you like just having a small solo experience, this game plays solo. And if you want to play at 5 players, then this game will not be for you. So that's basically it. I hope I got in a good summary of the game and the reasons you might want to play it or not, along with my opinion, and also the caveat that will allow you to maybe compare my opinion to your possible opinion. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the game. Let me know what you think of Ticket to Ride games. in general, do they have a place in your collection? And let me know what you think of this video. And that's it from me. Johnny, you want to say something? No, man. It's kind of cold today, man. You're here wearing a t-shirt, man. You're crazy. You're crazy, man. Jesus Christ. Get over this video. We have work to do, man. We can just lose all morning in this one video, man. Let's get stuff done, man. So guys, see you.